get the baby far away from the camera and we can rock and roll. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Matted Hair, Matt Your Hair, whatever we're calling this this time. And today I am joined with my good friend Vaughn.
Hello.
And Vaughn and I are going to show you how to put in some clip-in extensions. So basically the other day I was helping Vaughn with her extensions, and when I was walking her through the step-by-steps of how to put them in and giving her my tips and tricks and my little hacks on how to make them look better and also to be more secure in her head, she had this idea that I should make a video, so fuck it, here we are. So these are her clip-ins, and I think the first thing that we should do is just talk about some of the clip-in extension jargon in case I start talking about things and you're like, what the hell did that just mean? So, these are the extensions, and every weft, which is the top of the extension here, there is a weft, which is actually what the hair is connected to. And connected to the weft are the clips, and the clips always open and close, and we call the little part that secures the clip to your hair the teeth of the clip. So you've got the weft, the clip, the teeth, and the fucking hair, right? So that's basically the jargon of clip-in extensions in a nutshell. The next thing we should be talking about is sectioning. So a section is basically the part of your hair that I'm going to attach the clip-in to. So this is called a section, and sectioning is very, very, very important when you are putting in your clip-ins. And then the other little pro tips is teasing, and teasing is when you backcomb little pads into your hair, and by doing that, which I will demonstrate here in a second, by backcombing little pads into your hair, you actually give these teeth more of a bite, so they can actually sink into more hair, and then they don't end up falling out, and you don't end up looking like some trash walk of shame, you know, like Saturday morning down Bowery in New York. I used to see so many girls walking with their clip hanging off their head, and they were just doing their thing. So, clip-in extensions usually come in a big pack. Now you can get them as natural human hair, which I highly recommend. Make sure that you match the color really well. There are, I think, 60 shades of blonde. So, one shade off can actually make your extensions look very, very, very unnatural, and that's when it can start looking a little tacky. And also, you can sometimes blend the colors through, and what's so nice about Vaughn's extensions is they actually have a root to them. So as you see, the root here is darker so that when you put them in to her hair, they match the root so much nicer. And what's great about that is I highly, highly, highly recommend getting an extension with some roots, because the last thing you want is for your dark root to then have this big, bright, white stripe of platinum blonde going through it when the wind blows or something, and all you see is this huge white stripe, and it just looks unnatural. Okay, so when you actually get into putting these extensions in, it can be very overwhelming, and I think that was the one thing that me and Vaughn learned, is the extensions themselves usually come in a 7-piece set. And that sounds like a lot of fucking pieces, which sometimes it is. So one of the pieces is got 4 clips on it.
This is my hardest one.
This is the hardest one? Yeah. Okay, yeah, so this is the hardest one normally, and I'm gonna show you how to address that one. You can hold that one for me, Dee. And then you have normally a 3-piece little clip too, so this one has 3 pieces on it. And then the rest of them are normally just 2s. And sometimes you can cut these in half for 1s, but normally they just all come as 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So as we look at the back of Vaughn's head, we're gonna notice that the nape of her neck here is a little bit thinner than it is obviously up here around the top of her head, where her hairline comes from the top of her, the front of her hairline here, all the way around to the other side of the front of her hairline there. But below her ears, you only have just a little bit of room to put the hair extensions in. So when I am putting in those, the first section down below is where that 3-piece goes.
But when it comes to her, you better keep it.
The big Phoenix is running around. So if you're gonna try to put big nasty 4 here, it's gonna clip into both of her ears and it's gonna get stuck in her earrings and shit like that, obviously. So you obviously wouldn't put the 4 piece right here at the bottom, but the 3 piece sits in pretty much perfectly. There's one little trick when you start dealing with the nape of your head. Because as your neck bends, so I can go profile here, Ms. V. So as your neck bends, bend your neck back towards me. What happens is right here in the back of your neck, you actually crease. So you can probably feel the back of your neck yourself. And as you roll your head back, a little piece will actually like bend, and that's what your neck connects to your skull. And in that groove, you don't want to put a hair extension because that's going to cause a lot of tangling. So there's actually a bone right on the top of your, like right above that bend, and that's where you want to put your first extension. So that way she can look up, she can look down, she can dance the night away, she can do whatever she wants and not worry about all of this hair getting clumped up and starting to knot up or anything like that. So that's also really important if you're ever getting like professional extensions. You should really try not to get them in this part down there, because that's when if you're sleeping on them, they're really going to turn into a matted mess, and that's just a fucking nightmare to detangle. Okay guys, so when we actually get into attaching the extensions, a couple things are really important. First thing is how clean your sections are. And this can be really hard when you're doing it yourself, so... Sorry, we had to pause for station identification. This is the Phoenix Rose YouTube channel, and she's over there being a baby. So, so you want to make sure that your sections are really clean, right? I'm just going to use a clip because I can do that. And when you make your section, you want to make sure that you get all of this hair above the extension section out of the way, because there's a couple things that can go wrong with your extensions that I want to make sure that you guys don't have happen to you. So if you end up putting your hair extension, like the clip, above the section into the hair that you have pushed up and sectioned out of the way, you're basically going to drop the hair down and your weft is going to fall and fold out, and that's going to basically drag off your head and it's going to start floating in space. So you want to make sure that you're always really clean with this section, and then that this weft goes as close to the section as possible. But also, if it's even a little lower than it, that's fine too. It's better to err on the side of being slightly below your section than above, because as you drop your hair down, like I said, it's going to cause a bunch of cattywampus bullshit that's just going to cause a nightmare. The pro tip that I'll kind of show you guys, and you can do it and you don't have to do it. Sometimes you can just take these and literally just like sink the teeth in, clip, sink the teeth in. See, notice how I push this hair out of her way. I gotta talk myself through this sometimes. Push, and then all the way over there to the camera, Vaughn, thanks. And then as my baby cries in the background. And then as you take this one, you sink this in, and a lot of times they can just sit in there. Vaughn, when you do these, do you tease little pads, or do you like to just put them in? You just put them in, and they seem to lock in pretty good?
Yes, but I've only worn them once.
Okay, well she's 1 for 1. So, I mean, that's 100%. So,
yeah,
so
I
far...
was dancing in them, so...
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, this right now, this is pretty secure in there. But, like, when you do them, if you're not going to backcomb and tease little sections to make these teeth have more of a pad to bite into, you really want to make sure that... You notice I'm doing this, like, scooping motion with them. And just like when I tease hair, it's in this, like... It's in a C-shaped section where I'm going tease, tease, tease. I do the same thing with the hair extension where I reach in, bite the hair, come down, snap closed. That make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's like reach in, come down, snap close. It's not just like, you don't just put them in and snap them. I mean, they'll stay for a second, but they're also just going to fall right out. So you really want to, pardon the pun, sink your teeth into your hair. So you sink the teeth in and clip, and that clip is way more secure than the previous one. And then you sink your teeth in.
You feel it.
Yeah. And then you sink, and I almost like take the teeth and like scratch her scalp a little bit, so she could probably feel the teeth almost like a comb. So as I come in here with a comb, it kind of should feel the same way with a little bit of the tooth. And then you clip those in, and those babies are secure. But If you want to be really fancy, and whenever I'm doing these for red carpets or for my celebrity clients or whatever, and I know that they need to make sure these things stay all night long from, you know, when we're doing photos on the red carpet at 12 in the afternoon all the way till 12 at night when they are leaving the governor's ball, you have to then, you know, put a backcombing pad in. And that is just pretty damn simple. You literally just pull out your little section right where you would sink the teeth into. A lot of people like to backcomb the whole section. I just sort of tease the section where I know I'm going to put my clips, but that, of course, is whatever you're comfortable with. If you don't actually know where you're going to put your clips, and that 4-piece Big Bertha bitch piece, that one you might just want to backcomb a lot and just hope that you can sink your 4 teeth into that one. Excuse me. But the backcombing part is very easy. You just pull your section out, take your comb, your brush, whatever you like to do, and I'm gently just pushing her hair up, back towards her scalp, very, very, very gently. I always take the comb out of the hair, come back down, engage, push up, pull the comb out of her hair, push up, and that's going to give a big, thick, this is like a really fluffy pad now that this guy can sit in and sink into, and he's not going fucking nowhere. Okay.
All night.
Yeah, she's there all night. So just for the sake of time, I'm not going to backcomb every single section, but now I'm just going to put them all in. Yes, the squeal of 1,000 phoenixes. Daddy!
I want extensions.
Phoenix, we should put extensions in your hair. Okay, so now I'm just going to knock these out and show you where I put them in. I'll pause for a second to kind of tell you each one, but other than that, let's just let's fire these babies in.
You can call me stupid. Yes, you can call me sheep. You can say I'm lazy. You can say I'm weak. You think that using her would get to me. And if you're right, then you're in trouble, D. 'Cause I won't break my honor, I won't wait.
Okay, so now we're gonna go into the 4-piece Big Bertha bitch. So let's break that one down. Baby! Okay, let me have the big one.
This one.
Oh, she's so baby. The way I like to do this is you can kind of bow it in an arc so that it doesn't actually like cover so much of your head. Because if you were going to spin you back around, sorry. If you were going to stick this, you know, right on her head like this, you can come into some problems. But if you just kind of drop the middle part down, it then is just a little bit easier to then sit in. And also, since your head's a round object, having this little bit of roundness to it, it almost like just fits in a little better. Okay, so when I put these ones in, I like to find the outside pieces first to make sure that they like are gonna sit in beautifully. Normally right behind the ear here is where you want to start this one. Then it falls down, comes back around the occipital, and will sit beautifully right behind her ear here. Again, making sure my sections are pushed up out of the way. And then the other thing that you should kind of, I don't know if you can see it from this far away, I'll get a close-up view of it here, is how little amount of hair I have from one weft to another. Like she can probably feel where this section is, and literally the clip's like right there. The clips will sit in between the 4, if that makes sense. It's kind of like a brick lay. Like when you lay bricks, you lay them cattywampus over the top of each other. You don't lay them straight up like a Lego fortress. You kind of put 2 here, 1 here, 2 here, 1 there. You know, you stagger them. And that's what's nice about this. So as I come in here, I sink in my teeth. Every time I work with a makeup artist when I'm putting in hair extensions, I always make sure, for you guys that are actually professionals watching this, don't be that guy that while your makeup artist is putting on eyeliner that you just come in here and you're like, so I usually always have this little cue for my makeup artist friends where I say, pressing.
Oh, it's fancy.
Yeah, and then also it kind of gives my girl that I'm working with, you know, she knows that I'm going to be pressing on her hair because I do sink these teeth in and press those in. So again, really nice clean section. No hair from the top is going into the weft. All the way over there. And same thing back here on this side. So those are in. So that's pretty much the hard part. The 3 goes at the nape, the 4 goes right above it across your occipital bone, right behind the ears. And now all of the 2s that we have left, all just comes down to like pretty much fun and placement. So I just kind of start putting them in usually around the tops of the ears. So you probably want to put a couple around the top of the ear on each side and then a couple right in the back of the crown. So let's drop those in. These ones become much easier, I would think, right, Vaughn?
Yes.
Okay.
Only ones I can do.
Has your man helped yet?
No.
So again, I'm gonna put in 2 here, so I do this big sweeping section. Like this. Cool, okay. So we have our beautiful sweeping section here. And I'm just eyeing that going, nope, I'm not gonna be able to put another one in front of it, so let's come back a little farther. Sink in, press, press. And then now, depending, since everyone is different, how close you can get to the hairline really becomes, oh fuck, I'm too zoomed in. Damn it! Okay, that's too far. Like there? Sure, okay. So I'm a firm believer that everybody is different, and how close you can get to the hairline is all going to depend on a couple things. It's going to depend on the density that you have around your hairline. So if you've got a lot of hair around your hairline, then you can go pretty close because you have a lot of hair to cover the extensions. But if you're really sparse and you don't have a lot of density, maybe you should just leave the extensions back a little bit more, because you have to remember that as you move and you move your head, your hair is going to move, and the last thing you want is to kind of like see that, you know, big chunky weft that's sitting on your hairline.
Pressing.
Pressing. Okay, so we have 5 of the 7 in, and really, depending on, you know, there's no rules, so if you think this looks awesome, then go for it. It looks awesome. You don't have to put them all in. A lot of times, I find that the more you put in, it's like more money, more problems, right? You just end up like with too much hair and you just have just too much going on. But there's a couple places also I want you to be very, very, very aware of, and that is your whorl on the back of your head. So everybody has a whorl, and what that basically means is there's a spot on your head where your growth pattern grows in a circle, because as your hair grows back and then down, it's going to split, and that is where the point of like no return is, and you want to avoid that at all costs. So the last thing you want to do is stick a hair extension in here, and you're like, oh cool, I've got my hair extension, and your whorl splits, and all you do is see this weft. And I don't care how good you are at styling your hair, and if you set it around hot rollers, or you have your curling iron, your flat iron, or whatever, that whorl is coming back. Like it's really, 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 really hard to try to outstyle your calyx. So be very, very, very mindful, and everyone's whorl is in a different spot. So I can only tell you where Yvonne's is, which is right here, her little circular whorl and her little calyx there. But everyone's different. Some people have 2, some people have double whorls, so good luck with your extensions if you've got the double whorl. But if you have that, just be very mindful of the way that your hair grows, and then you can come in here and throw a hair extension below. Where my clips go? You can throw a piece near them, just don't put a hair extension in a way that's going to go a different way than the hair wants to go. So you can come in here and throw one in this area, because I know that this hair over the top wants to go this direction and cover this hair extension for me, but I wouldn't put one right across the middle, because that hair is going to split and then you're going to just be in a world of trouble. So avoid your whorls, avoid the hairline if you're really, really, really sparse. And yeah, but let's throw the last one in just for shits and giggles.
The difference. only this was my real hair.
It is your real hair. You bought it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You still have sound? Yep, it's mine. Phoenix, stop playing the drums back there. Okay, so before I give you some other little tips, brushing your hair extensions with your hair clipped into your head, you want to make sure that you hold your extensions as you clip, as you brush, sorry. So hold the clips, brush your hair. Sometimes it's almost better to just grab the hair here, hold it secure, and then brush it all out so that way there's zero tension on any of your wefts. The other thing that I like to, that's more of an advanced tip, is when I brush hair with hair extensions, or anytime I detangle hair really, I like to use only the last 2 rows on the outside of a brush. So I will just come in here, keep the brush completely open as opposed to closing the brush and causing all this tension on her hair. I just keep it completely open and just kind of Bob Ross, happy little tree, paint the tangles out. And I just kind of be like, oh, this is nice. I don't like to go in here and be like, bitch, get the tangle out. I like to just feather it out real nice. And I do that by keeping the brush open. And I've noticed every time I train all my assistants and things like that, they have a really hard time detangling hair extensions because they're actually engaging too much of the brush and or comb. So if you're trying to use your comb and you're sinking the teeth into the comb, just like we sunk our teeth of the hair extensions into your scalp, it's gonna cause too much tension. So you wanna actually open the teeth up and detangle, or open the bristle up and brush. And that's gonna make for a much more pleasurable brushing experience. Okay guys, so now that you are all confident and your hair is clipped in and you're feeling good, now you kind of need to style them. So there's 2 different ways that you can go about styling them. A, you can just style them right now in your hair, which a lot of people do, or you can do a couple different things. Most of you probably don't have a wig stand, which this is what I would just put the extension on and clip it in, and then I would curl it like this, and this is how I do most of my styling for extensions. So what I told Vaughn the other day that seemed to be one of the best tips I think of the entire day was what you can do, and I used to do this all the time at weddings when I couldn't bring that guy to Jamaica or wherever. I would take all my hair extensions and I would open a drawer, put the wefts in the drawer and close the drawer so that all the hair was hanging out the drawer, and I could then take my curling iron, right, and curl all my hair. So I would have all the hair extensions in a drawer, and Uncle John would come walking in and be like, what the hell's all this hair? I would be sitting in the bridal suite curling hair with it all shoved in a drawer, and that seemed to help you the other day. Yeah. So
very good tip.
Good. So you don't have to have a wig stand. That's usually the easiest way I think to style the hair up. But yeah, other than that, you can just kind of get in there with your curling iron and just sort of basically want to just curl the hair up and kind of have it end up something like this, I guess. So yeah, so now you're big, beautiful, full, sexy, bouncy, Victoria's Secret bound. All of that stuff. But yeah, so style it, make it your own, and know that if you have human hair, you can obviously put curling iron to it like I just did, and you can set it, you can flat iron it, you can do a lot of different stuff to it. Do wash them because they are human hair, but you don't have to overwash them. But if you're a big hairspray person, make sure to just keep them clean, because if you are constantly spraying them with hairspray and then flat ironing and then spraying with hairspray and then curling ironing and then flat ironing and then spraying and then flat and then spray and then flat and then spray and then your hair is gonna look like that. It's gonna fucking look outrageously bad. So if you are overloading it with product, make sure that you are then cleaning them, conditioning them. Make sure your hairdresser looks at them and trims them, because every once in a while you'll have some weird rogue piece. Yours are still in pretty good shape because they're brand new. But you'll have a rogue piece that gets long because they come off the weft or something. And there's human hair involved because they were sewn to a weft. But nonetheless, I digress. I hope you got something out of this video. I really hope now you can be more confident putting in your hair extensions. Ms. Vaughn, I hope you can show this to your man and now he can put them in for you.
Right now.
Yeah, big thing, girls. I think if you can get your man to put your hair extensions in.
Keeper.
Yeah, he's a keeper. Sexual favors.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff goes a long way. Let me tell you. I did my wife's hair every day for a year. That was a good year.
Laura.
Sorry, Laura. Anyway, and that's it for us today. Thank you, Vaughn, so much for being on the show. Or hair extensions solved. And remember, this is the only place you want to get your hair matted, so we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
I guess it's nothing too dangerous there.